Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done here on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us for our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. Lead us not in temptation, deliver us from the wicked one. For thine is the kingdom and the power and the glory forever. For thine is the kingdom and the power and the glory forever. Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread. Forgive us for our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. Lead us not to temptation, deliver us from the wicked one. For thine is the kingdom and the power and the glory forever. For thine is the kingdom and the power and the glory forever. For thine is the kingdom and the power and the glory forever. For thine is the kingdom and the power and the glory forever. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth.
Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in Shamayim. All praises, honor, and great esteem unto the Most High Power, Yahuwah, Bahashem, Yahushua HaMashiach, and to the 12 tribes of Israel who are scattered to the four quarters of the earth. I say Shalom Wabaruki, that is peace and blessings. And I cannot wait till the day that the Most High brings us back together, and we are once again 12 tribes, one family, one nation, under the Most High Power, under one covenant. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
I'm joined this evening, this afternoon, by my most esteemed Akinanaya. Shabbat Shalom, Maki.
Hey, Shabbat Shalom, Maki. Shabbaton Yasharal. Call Halal Yahweh. Bahasham Yahweh Shah HaMashiach. Wahawa Kakwadash. Barakatham.
Hallelujah. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Our praises to the Father. Shabbaton is basically happy Sabbath for another Sabbath Yom. And man, I went blank on that one.
All praises to the Most High, the Son, and the Ruach HaKodesh. And bless you all.
Bless you all. Hallelujah. Indeed. All praises again to the Father for another Sabbath Yom. and you are live and direct with your Akazaki Yahoo. We are about to wrap up the book of Acts or Miss
MA ASEI.
MA ASEI. I always mess up that name. I have not gotten that name down just yet. But we are going to wrap up this book, Most High Willing, and we will be starting a new book, book of Romans or Raim, whatever you pronounce that in the Hebrew, next week, Most High Willing, if it be His will. So
It seemed like they would have just called that Kittim.
Khan, that's a good observation because, let me share here. Let me share. Let's present. Here we go. Screen share. And yeah, here it is. Yeah, because, when you put right here, and this is where we are, Acts right here. This is the word for Romans, which is ironic. It should be Kittim, truthfully. I don't know why it's not. That's ironic that they're using something different. So interesting. Nevertheless, let's get to the reading for the day. Looking forward to getting through this book and moving forward. So this is the book of Acts or MA ASEI, chapter number 22. Shaul's defense before the Yahudim, verse number 1. Men and brethren, Salaki, I forgot last night we had the cliffhanger. So let's go back and just review a little bit of what we were leading up to here. So basically, Shaul was arrested, and he said to the officer, can I speak with you? And he asked him, could he speak Greek? He said, aren't you that Egyptian, that Mizraite that made insurrection with 4,000 men that were murderers? So Shaul said, no, I am Yahudim of Tarsus, a citizen of what is that?
Cecilia.
Cecilia. And so basically, at this point, now he was given license. So Shaul stood up on the stairs and beckoned with his hand unto the people. And when he had made a great silence, he spake unto them in the Hebrew tongue, saying, so that's where we left off last night. Great cliffhanger. Mm-hmm. And we pick up here. Men and brethren. So that's why I had to do that recap, because it came in at this point. Like,
come on.
I'll praise. Men and brethren and fathers, hear you my defense, which I make known unto you. And when they heard that he spake in the Hebrew tongue to them, they kept the more silent. And he saith, I am verily a man which am a Yahudim, born in Tarsus, a city in Sicilia. You brought up the city, brought up in this city at the feet of Gamaliel, and taught according
Gamaliel.
Gamaliel, and taught according to the perfect manner of the Torah of the fathers, and was zealous towards the Most High, and you are all this day, as you are all this day. Verse 4. And I persecuted. That's right.
Mm-hmm.
That way until the death, binding and delivering unto prison both men and women, as also the high priest do bear me witness, and all the estate of the elders, from whom also I received letters unto the brethren, and went to Damascus to bring them which were bound unto Jerusalem, for to be punished. And it came to pass that as I made my journey, I was come nigh unto Damascus by noon. Suddenly there shone from Shamaim a great light round about me, and I fell to the ground, and I heard a voice saying unto me, Shaul, Shaul, why persecute you me? And I answered, Who are you, Adonai? And he said unto me, I am Yehoshua of Nazareth, whom you persecuted. And they that were with me saw indeed the light and were afraid, and they heard not a voice of him that spake unto me. And I said, What shall I do, Adonai? And the Adonai said unto me, Arise and go unto Damascus, and there it shall be told unto you, it shall be told you all things which are appointed for you to do. And when I could see, and when I could not see for the glory of the light, behold, being led by hand of them that were with me, I came unto Damascus. And one Ananias, a devout man according to HaTorah, having a good report of all the Yahudim which dwell there, came unto me and stood and said unto me, Aki, or Akshaul, receive your sight. And that same hour I looked up upon him. That's strange to say it that way. I looked up upon him, and he said, the Most High, or the power of our fathers, have chosen you, and you should know his will, and see that the just one, uh, and should hear the voice of his mouth. For you should be his witness unto all men of what you have seen and heard. So he's telling them that this is what his commission was, and how he came into where he is, and why he's before them in this particular situation. Reminding you now, this is him speaking the whole time. He's speaking in Hebrew. He's not speaking in English like we are. He's not speaking in Greek either. He's speaking in Hebrew because he's addressing the Yahudim. So continue in verse 16. And now, why tarry you? Arise and be immersed and wash away your sins, calling on the name of the Adon of Yahuwah. And it came to pass that when I come again to Jerusalem, even while I prayed in the temple, I was in a trance. Let me slow down a little bit. I'm trying to go too fast. Verse 18. And saw him saying unto me, Make haste and get you quickly out of Jerusalem, for they will not receive your testimony concerning me. And I said, Adonai, they know that I imprisoned and beat in every worship place them that believed on you. And when the blood of the martyr Stephen was shed, I also was standing by and consented unto his death, and kept the raiment of them that slew him. And he said unto me, Depart, for I will send you far there unto the Gentiles. And they gave him audience, and they gave him audience unto his word, and then lifted up their voices and said, Away with such a fellow from the earth, for it is not fit that he should live. So now they saying, they commanded, he need to die. Get him out of here. Verse 23. Mm-hmm. And as they cried out, they cast off their clothes, and they threw dust into the air. They cast off their clothes. Why? That's strange. That never happened. Like, the only time we saw that in the OT was when David was just praising the Most High because of the his and that's his garment came open. It didn't even come off. I mean, this came open and he was exposed, but that's not an okay thing. We see that a lot in this book, which is ironic. Verse 24. The chief captain commanded him to be brought unto the castle and bade that he should be examined by the scourging. Examined by scourging. That he might know, therefore, they cried so against him. And as they brought him with thongs, thongs, thongs.
Con.
Yeah, that's a strange word too. Shaul said unto the centurion that stood by, is it lawful to scourge a man that is a Roman and uncondemned? And when the centurion heard that, he went and told the chief captain, saying, Take heed what you do, for this man is a Roman. Then the chief captain came and said unto him, Tell me, are you Roman? And he said, Yes. Well, he didn't say yes. He would have said, yeah, he probably would have said equivalent to yes in whatever Roman in Latin, as opposed to, I would have almost said came, but he's speaking to foreigners. Verse 28. Yeah. He wouldn't have spoke to them like that. Verse 28. And the chief captain answered, with a great sum obtained I this freedom. And Shaul said, But I was freeborn. Then straightway they departed from him, which should be examined him. And the chief captain also was afraid, after he knew that he was a Roman, and because he had brought him on the morrow, because he would have known the certainty. Therefore, he was accused of the Yahudim. He loosed him from his bands and commanded the chief priests and all the counselors to appear, and brought Shaul down and set him before them. So now he put it right back on them. So they always want the people in charge to be the ones to deal with the thing, and that's been our problem. That's why our people now are so adamant about not they're not looking for the kingdom to come, because they don't want to be having to do anything. They rather sit back and let somebody else be in charge of it, which is unreasonable. Verse 2. All right, so now we're at the book of still the book of Acts, chapter 23, and verse number 1. Shaul before the council. And Shaul earnestly beheld the council, beholding the council, said, Men and brethren, I have lived in all good conscience before the Most High until this day. And the high priest Ananias commanded them that stood by him to smite him on his mouth. What? Hold up. I missed that. Let me read that again, because I didn't get why he told him to smite him. Verse 1. And Shaul earnestly beheld in the council, said, Men and brethren, I have lived in all good conscience before the Most High until this day. And the high priest Ananias commanded them that stood by him to smite him on the mouth. Then said Shaul unto him, Most High shall smite you, you whited wall. You whited wall. What is that?
It's man, I'm trying to think who I heard breaking this down though. But it was lawful for him to be smited because he was disrespecting somebody of esteem, somebody that was, and I forget where that is, where that's located in the Torah, but and then Shaul might even speak about it.
Yeah, this I know this. I remember this part of it here uh, at this point because he called him a white wall. He basically is reviling the leaders of the nation, one of the leaders of the nation, and
Hmm.
that's why he was off on that. But I don't understand why he told him to hit him on the mouth because he said he was uh, in good conscience before the Most High unto this day. Like hit him on his mouth. He said, "The Most High gonna smite you, you whited wall." Continuing, for seeing, for seeth you a, it's like you, for setteth you a judge me about the law, and commanded me to be smitten contrary to the law. Like how you gonna command me to be smitten? That's not a part of. That's not in the law. Verse
Okay.
4. Yeah, that's what he was saying there. Verse 4. And they stood by, saying, "Revilest you the revilest you the Most High's high priest?"
That's what it is. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh, you done step to the high priest like that's against Torah. Verse 5. Then said Shaul, "I wish not, brethren, that he was a high priest, for it is written, you shall not speak evil of the rulers of your people." Like, I didn't realize that that's who it was. So my bad.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, he didn't know that's who it was. So verse 6. But when Shaul perceived that one part was Sadducees and the other Pharisees, he cried out to the council, "Men and brethren, I am a Pharisee, a son of the Pharisees, of the hope of the resurrection of the dead. I am called in question." So now he everything. He a Roman, he a Hebrew.
Mm-hmm.
Now he not only a believer in the way, he's also a Pharisee. He got every card every card available.
Con.
Verse 7. And when he had said so, and when he had so said, there arose a dissension between the Pharisees and the Sadducees, and the multitude was divided. And the Sadducees said that there is no for the Sadducees say there is no resurrection, neither angels nor spirit, but the Pharisees confess both. And there arose a great cry, and the scribes that were of the uh, Pharisees' part arose and strove, saying, "We find no evil in this man, but if the spirit of the Malach has spoken to him, let us not fight against the Most High." And when there arose a great dissension, the chief captain, feared lest Shaul should have been pulled in pieces of them, commanded the soldier to go down and take him by force from among them and bring him to the castle. And the night, Slaki, and the night following, uh, Yahuwah stood by him, or not Yahuwah, Adonai stood by him and said, "Be of good cheer, Shaul, for you have testified of me in Jerusalem. So must you bear witness also in Rome," or Kittim. All right. A conspiracy to kill Shaul. So Shaul is wanted dead. He's not wanted dead or alive. He's wanted dead. They want him out of
Mm-hmm.
there. All right, verse 12. And when it's like it's funny. I get tongue tied and I can't even get. You know what I'm saying? It's just ironic. Verse 12. And when it was day, certain of the Yahudim banded together and bound themselves under a curse, saying that they would neither eat nor drink till they had killed Shaul. Wow, that's crazy. Like, I'm not eating nothing, I'm not drinking nothing until this is dead.
Mm-hmm.
Doing nothing, not moving forward until he's over with. Verse 13. And they were more than 40 which had made this conspiracy. And they came to the chief priests and elders and said, we have bound ourselves under one curse, that we will not eat nothing until we have slain Shaul. Now, therefore, you with the council signify the chief captain. Salakia, my bad. I forgot to hit that red letter. So that was Adonai talking right there.
Mm-hmm.
I just thought about that. Just popped in my head. Like, that's so ironic how that works. It just popped in my head. Like, I bet that was Adonai talking there. All right. Verse 15. Now, therefore, you with the council signify to the chief captain that he bring him down unto you tomorrow, as though you would inquire something more perfect concerning him, and we, or even he, come near and ready to kill him. And when Shaul's sister's son heard of the lying in wait, he went and entered into the castle and told Shaul. Then Shaul called one of the centurions unto him and said, bring this young man to the chief captain, for he have a certain thing to tell him. So he took him and brought him to the chief captain and said, Shaul, the prisoner, called me unto him and prayed me to bring this young man unto you, for he hath something to say to you. Then the chief captain took him by the hand and went with him aside privately and asked him, what is it you have to tell me? And he said, the Yahudim have agreed to desire you that you would bring Shaul tomorrow to the council, that they would inquire what else of him more perfectly. But do not you yield unto them, for they lie in wait for him of them more than 40 men, which are bound themselves with an oath that they will neither eat nor drink till they have killed him. And now are they ready? Are they ready, looking for the promise from you? So he gave them a heads up through his nephew here, and he got that to the chief captain. Let's see what he says. Verse 22. So the chief captain then let the young man depart and charged him, see you no man that have showed these things to me. So don't tell nobody that this has happened. Shaul moved to Caesarea. So this is how he gets moved to Rome. So he was locked up in Jerusalem,
Mm-hmm.
and then he got moved to Rome because the Yahudim said they were. So I guess a lot of them started there because they get him up out of there. So
Right.
that's crazy. Verse 23. That's why y'all make stupid vows.
Yeah, indeed,
Yeah,
indeed.
right. That's stupid. I mean, why would you even, plotting to get rid of this man that bad to where you just gonna deny yourself of life, of food and drink? Like, verse 23. And he called unto him 2 centurions, saying, make ready 200 soldiers and go to Caesarea, and horsemen 70, and spearmen 200, and at the third hour of the night. So he done put together a brigade, basically, to move Shaul. So they are set on protecting him, I guess, because
Mm-hmm.
he's a Roman. So continue with verse 24. And provide them beasts that they may set Shaul on and bring him safely to Felix the governor. And he wrote a letter after this manner. It's like it. Uh, Claudix, Lindsay,
Lysias.
Lysias, Talaki, unto the most excellent governor, Felix, send greetings. This man was taken of the Yahudim and should have been killed of them. Then came and then came I with an army and rescued him, having understood he was a Roman. So he bigging himself up. Yeah, I took care of that. Seeing how he's a Roman, he's one of us. So, I took care of it. Verse 28. And when I was known, it's like it, and when I would have known the cause wherefore they accused him, I brought him forth unto their council, whom I perceived to be accused of questions of their law, of their Torah, but to have nothing laid to charge worthy of death or of bonds. And when it was told me how the Yahudim laid in wait for the man, I sent straightway to you to give command to his accusers. Also, I said before you what they had against him. Farewell. Farewell, I guess he was his closing. All right, verse 31. Then the soldiers, as it was commanded them, took Shaul and brought him by night to Antiparis.
Partridge.
Antipatris.
And there's no there's the R after the T, so I've pronounced it wrong. It's Antipatris.
Patris. Antipatris. Okay, Tolaki. Antipatris. All right. Hope that's not something evil we pronounce it.
Yeah, I'll be worrying. Well, yeah. I'll be concerned with some of the Greek words that we've been saying.
Exactly. Yeah. Most I know we're not doing it in maliciousness. We just, read this text. So continue in verse 32. On the morrow, they left the horsemen to go with him and returned to the castle. So who, when they came to Caesarea, and delivered the epistle to the governor, presented Shaul also before him. And the governor did read the letter and asked of what province he was, and he understood that he was Sicilian. I will hear you, he said, and your accusers also came. Slacky. And your accusers are also come. Like, look, you didn't show up by yourself. They here for you. And he commanded him to be kept in Herod's judgment hall. So Herod got a place in Rome?
Well, see, he's not at Rome just yet. He's in Caesarea, which is still, it's still in the Levant. It's like the northern section, like Syria, that Syrian area. But this is a Roman province because it's named after the Caesar. So, but this is how he ends up getting to Rome. This is like part of the journey there.
Okay. Yeah, I think we looked at that on the map before.
Yeah, we was looking at from Caesarea to Joppa, I believe.
Yeah, kind. Yeah, this is real quick here. I love opening these maps and seeing this historical land areas here. Yeah, let's just go back to that real quick. It was right up here on the coast, if I remember correctly. Stop me if you see it before I do it. It's
I want to say that it is
it's right
below, I believe.
Below Syria?
Yeah, well, yeah. And I could be wrong.
I may be out too far. Now that I'm in closer, maybe we can. Seemed like it was right where this road is, right next to the water, if I remember right.
So it's below. It's below. Yeah, much below where we're at. Much below Tripoli
Oh, okay.
and below Beirut. Like, but you're close. You're getting closer.
There it is.
Yeah, kind of.
Okay, there we go. All right. So in reference, so you see, yeah, I was way up there. My bad. Yeah. So it's right. So yeah, we still in Israel basically. So it's not a part of. We're not even at a place where we are in close to Rome. So we're still very much in Israel. So, all right, moving on to chapter 24. And these chapters are going quick. We 35 minutes on the third chapter. Shaul before Felix. Book of Acts chapter 24, verse 1. And after 5 days, Ananias, the high priest, descended with the elders and with certain orators.
It was,
is that right?
Yeah, orator Khan.
Okay, a certain orator called Teleuas. I don't know. We're not gonna worry about his name. It's not very important. Whom informed the governor against Shaul, and when he was called forth, his name is again Tertullus. Tertullus. I'm like, okay. Tertullus began to accuse him, Tolaki, saying, "See that by you we enjoy great quietness, and with Slakia, and that very worthy deeds are done unto this nation by your providence."
Yeah, Khan, indeed.
Okay.
Hey, let me stop you real quick.
Okay,
and this is just kind of like a recap on what we was looking at last week in relation to the distance between Joppa and Caesarea.
Okay.
We were wondering like how that was like how long that would take, and we came to the conclusion that I misspoke because I told you that it was 62 miles, but it's actually 62.1 kilometers.
Oh, okay.
So when you break that down into miles, that's only 38 miles.
Oh, okay.
So it would have been much easier than what we had thought to cover that the ground.
Okay, so from Joppa to Caesarea.
Only 38 miles.
38 miles. Okay. Oh, cool.
Yeah, I said 62, but I didn't look. I just saw the 62 and I thought it was saying miles, but it's actually kilometers.
Okay. And it's ironic because of course we found Caesarea here, but did we find Joppa? I mean, it's got to be close by, only 38 miles away.
It's Joppa is it's below Caesarea.
They got a golf course out here. Caesarea Golf Cafe.
Yeah, and it's called Jaffa now.
Oh, it's with a Y.
Well, no, I'm sorry. It's called Jaffa now, Jaffa. But in the scriptures, it's referred to as Joppa.
Okay.
And it's it's below, so it's not going to be that far away from Caesarea, but just below.
Do you see it?
Nah, I don't. But I know it's on the map. It's close to Ashdod.
Okay.
So
it's not a big deal. I'm just, when we was talking about it, I was just trying to see if we see it here, but no big deal. Just curious.
It's if you're at Jerusalem and you look directly to the coast, it's like it's diagonal to the coast. So it's not far from Jerusalem.
Okay. So, yeah, here's Ashdod.
Okay, and it's screens close in, so it's Jaffa. So scroll up. Keep going up. Yeah. Keep going up.
Okay.
It's on. It's right on the coast.
Right
So
on.
like you're almost there. Like when you get to when you see a 5, you've gone too far. Like on the coastline.
Okay. Yeah. Here's 4. There's 2.
So it's right above. Yeah, right above 4 and in between 5. So yeah, you need to go up a little bit more.
Back to Caesarea.
Well, yeah, we passed it then, so it must not be. And it's probably looking for a Joppa instead of Jaffa, but it's Joppa now. But like I said, if you got to 5, you went too far. But
it's all good.
It's right there on the coast though. So
okay. No sweat.
Another rabbit hole. My fault.
No. It's all good. Like I said, we ahead of the game anyway, so we doing good. So, but continuing, I leave off. Verse 3. So back in the book of Acts, chapter 24 and verse 3. We accept it always and in all places. Most notable Felix, with all thankfulness, notwithstanding that I be not further tedious unto you. I pray you that you would hear us of your clemency and a few words. Okay, so he want him to listen to them. Verse 5. For we have found this man a pestilent fellow and a mover of sedition among all the Yahudim throughout the world. Throughout the world, really? And a ringleader in the sects of the Nazarenes. Oh, so they put him in with the Nazarene. So did he shave his head? It seemed like we read that he did shave his head as he had. Okay, that makes sense then. Slucky. Verse 6. Who also, having gone about to profane the temple, whom we took and would have judged according to our Torah, but the chief captain, Laserius, came upon us and with great violence took him away out of our hands, commanding his accusers to come unto you by examining of whom yourself would take knowledge of all those things. Wherefore we accuse him. And the Yahudim also ascended, saying that these things were so. Then Shaul, after the governor had beckoned to speak with him, answered, For as much as I know that you have been for many years a judge unto this nation, I do more cheerfully answer for myself, Slaki. But you have, Slaki. But Slaki. I'm reading that wrong. Let me read this again. Verse number 11. Because that you may understand that there are yet but 12 days since I went up from Jerusalem for to worship, and they neither found me in the temple disputing with any man, nor raising up people, neither in the worship place nor in the city. Neither can they prove the things wherefore they now accuse me. But this I confess unto you, that after the way which they call heresy, so worship I the power of my fathers, believe all things which are written in the Torah and in the prophets, and have hope towards the Most High, which they themselves also allow. And there shall be a resurrection of the dead. Behold, it's like it, both of the just and unjust. And herein do I exercise myself and have always in conscience void the offense towards the Most High and towards men. Now, after many years, I came to bring alms to my nation and offerings. Wherefore, certain Yahudim from Asia found me purified in the temple, neither with a multitude nor with tumult, who ought to have been here before you, and object if they had aught against me. So if they had something to say against me, they could have did it, in one of these occasions, but they didn't find me doing anything. I didn't have any business. Verse 20. Or else, let these same here say, if they found any evil doing in me while I stood before the council, except it be for this one voice that I cried standing among them, touching the insurrection, touching the resurrection of the dead. I am called in question by you this day. And when Felix heard these things, having more perfect knowledge of that way, deferred them, saying, let's, what is the doggone word? Laseyas, the chief
Matthias Khan.
Matthias, Matthias, the captain, shall come down. I will know the uttermost of your matter. And he commanded the centurion to keep Shaul and to let him have liberty, and that he should forbid none of his acquaintances to minister or come unto him. And after certain days, when Felix came with his wife, I'm not going to try that. I'm not going to try that one. She was oh my gosh. His wife was a Yahudi.
Mm-hmm.
He sent for Shaul and heard him concerning the faith of a Mashiach. Oh my goodness. The governor of this Roman, was he a Roman? Was he a really? Oh, wow. That's crazy. Verse 25, continuing here. And as he reasoned for righteousness, temperance, and judgment to come, Felix trembled and answered, Go your way, for this time. When I have consented season, I will call for you. You know what's ironic? We read this, and I picture in my mind that this is the governor's place. Felix is the governor, and this is his place where Shaul is, and he's basically giving Shaul liberty to go around his place and just be at home. Like, that's kind of strange because that doesn't happen today. You know what I'm saying? You get into a situation, you go to jail, and they keep you in jail until your trial. So he's waiting for people to come with testimony. In the meantime, you just hang out at the governor's mansion, and that wouldn't happen here. Like, you get in trouble, you in jail.
Yeah, indeed.
Yeah, that's ironic. So, verse 26. He hoped also that money should be given him of Shaul, and he might lose him. Wherefore he sent for him the offering and communed with him. But after 2 years, 2 years, Porcius Festus came unto Felix's room, and Felix, willing to show the Yahudim a pleasure, left Shaul bound. I wonder who this Felix is, because that's why he got a wife of dang. That's horrible.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
That's horrible. All right. Verse 25. Verse 25. Chapter 25. Shaul before Festus. Verse 1. Now when Festus came, now when Festus was come into the province, after 3 days, he ascended from Caesarea to Jerusalem. Then the high priest and the chief of the Yahudim informed him against Shaul and brought him. They should be dead already. And they're the ones that made the we're talking 2 years later. Y'all not supposed to be ate anything in all this time or drink.
Well, I don't think it named the people that actually took that oath.
Right. Yeah. Verse 3. I know it's just silly to think about.
Okay.
Verse 3. And desire favor against him that he would send him for him to Jerusalem, laying in wait to kill him. So they got the same plan. As soon as we see him, we're gonna kill him. They got, I don't know what they got, a bow and arrow, a sword, a brick. I mean,
yeah, I'm thinking it would have probably been a weapon of choice, dagger, because here's the thing: at this point in history, it was illegal for any of the Yahudim to actually have a weapon. So it would have been something that they would have been able to easily conceal. So I'm thinking a dagger.
Okay. I didn't realize that because Kiefer walked around with his sword on his side.
Yeah. It was illegal.
Wow. Okay. Verse 4. But Festus answered that Shaul should be kept at Caesarea, and that he himself would depart shortly there. Let them therefore, he said, which among you are able to go down with me and accuse this man, if there be any wickedness in him. And when he had tarried among them more than 10 days, he went down unto Caesarea, and the next day, sitting in the judgment seat, commanded Shaul to be brought. And when he was come, the Yahudim which came down from Jerusalem stood round about, and laid many and grievous complaints against Shaul, which they could not prove. While he answered him for himself, neither against the Torah of the Yahudim, neither against the temple, nor you against Caesar, having I offended anything at all. Have I offended anything at all? Should be, have I offended in anything at all? That would have been the better translation, I believe. Verse 9. But Festus, willing to do the Yahudim a pleasure, answered Shaul, saying, would you go up to Jerusalem and there be judged of these things before me? Then said Shaul, I stand at Caesar's judgment seat, where I ought to be judged. To the Yahudim have I done no wrong, as you very well know. Yeah. Verse 11. For if I be an offender, or have committed anything worthy of death, I refuse not to die. But if there be none of these things wherefore you accuse me, no man may deliver me unto them. I appeal unto Caesar. Then Festus, when he had conferred with council, answered, Have you appealed unto Caesar? Unto Caesar shall you go. That's what got him in the wrong there.
Con.
Yeah. So now you appeal unto Caesar, I'm sending you to Caesar. Go to Caesar himself and let him deal with you. Like, I just imagine, being some kind of leader of these great provinces and all this area, and here come a Yahudim talking about he accused of violating the Torah, and they want to kill him. We're like, send him back. I'm not even dealing with that. Verse 13. And after certain days, King Agrippa and Bernice came unto Caesarea and saluted Felix. So they just introduced Agrippa with no background, nothing, just King Agrippa and Bernice came unto Caesarea and saluted Festus. And when they had...
Let's look up to see if it'll tell us who it is. I want to say that Agrippa was
Edom.
Edomite.
Yeah, he was. I want to say he was king.
Herod's son?
Yeah, like he was sitting on the throne. That name means hero-like. A name of the ruling family in Israel at the time of Hamashiach. Yeah, see the discussion of the Herods. So yeah, he was definitely a descendant of Herod, which we kind of knew that, but not seen it anywhere outside of hearing it. Bernice bringing victory, the eldest daughter of Herod Agrippa the first. So this is him and his daughter coming, I guess. Continuing, verse 14. And when he had been there many days, Festus declared Shaul's cause unto the king, saying, There is a certain man left in bonds by Felix, about whom, when I was at Jerusalem, the chief priests and the elders of the Yahudim informed me, desiring to have judgment against him. To whom I answered, It is not a manner of the Romans to deliver any man to die before that he which is accused have the accuser face to face, and have license to ask of him concerning the crime laid against him. So you got to get this man a chance to plead his case. Verse 17. Therefore, when they were come hither without any delay on the morrow, I sat on the judgment seat and commanded the man to be brought forth, against whom, when the accusers stood up, they brought none accusation of such things as I supposed. But had certain questions against him of their own superstition, and of one Yehoshua, which was dead, whom Shaul affirmed to be alive. Like he's dead, but he says he lives. Verse 20. Yeah. So he's explaining this to Agrippa. So this is Felix explaining this to Agrippa. So Agrippa going to be in charge of rendering judgment, I guess. Verse 20. And because I doubted of such manners of questions, I asked him whether he would go to Jerusalem and there to be judged of these matters. But when Shaul had appealed to be revised upon the hearing of Augustus, I commended him that he would be kept till I might send him to Caesar. Then Agrippa said unto Festus, I would also hear the man myself tomorrow, said he, and if you should hear him. So this is ironic because Agrippa sits on the king on the throne of David, and he come in and is speaking to Festus like they buddies, which is kind of ironic because that would be, I don't know, in modern terms, that would be like I guess like a governor, talking to the president like they peers.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like that shouldn't be the case, but who knows? Continuing, Shaul before Agrippa, verse 23. And on the morrow, when Agrippa was come, and Bernice with great pomp, and was entered into the place of hearing with the chief captains and the principal men of the city, as Festus commanded, Shaul was brought forth. And Festus said, King Agrippa, and all men which are here present with us, you see this man about whom uh, all the multitude of the Yahudim have dealt with me before at Jerusalem, and also here, crying that he ought to not live any longer. Speaking of Slakia, one sidebar real quick. It's ironic that in this country, this supposed to be United States, that you have a president who is in charge of things. He deals daily with, I guess, the Senate and the House of Representatives, but it would seem like the governors of all the states would be, conversing and dealing with things that they're dealing with in their places and how they can improve the overall status of the country and reporting that to the president. But they don't do that. I don't understand that. Like, that's so ironic. I don't know. Do they have? Do you know? I know, like I said, sidebar. Do you know if they have like a governor's meeting or anything of that nature? Have you ever heard of such?
They do. They indeed do.
Okay.
But in regards to policies that get pushed, it's the Congress, it's the representatives that have more say for national issues versus state issues. Well, even with the state issues, the governor signs off on what's going to become law in each state, but it's the House of Representatives and the Senate that have got more to do with getting things rolling. And they can the governor might have an idea of what he wants going on in his state, and the state representatives and senators can make it to where it's difficult for him to get that accomplished.
Okay. So I know, like the representatives and whatnot, they got certain districts, certain areas, and so on and so forth. So that's how you're able to get your voice heard, because you can speak to that person who you directly vote for, and they represent you and your voice, and so on and so forth. So you get enough people on your side, they go to them, they'll put in the, vote for you based on, what they want to do, first of all. Second, what you're influencing them to do. So, okay, I was just curious about that because we kind of see how the setup is here, and looks like they've deviated from that quite immensely, which is why I mentioned that. So, all right, continuing verse 25 here. But when I found that he had committed nothing wrong worthy of death, and he himself had appealed unto Augustus, I have determined to send him, of whom I have no certain thing to write unto my master. Wherefore I have brought him forth before you, and especially before you, O King Agrippa, that after examination had, I might have somewhat to write. For it seems to me unreasonable to send prior prisoners and not withal to signify the crime laid against him. So now he's in the presence of Agrippa. So yeah. All right, we're going. Man, this thing went quick. That's 105. So
Okay.
you're gonna knock these little three out in like 20 minutes, and you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, gone. It won't be long.
Yeah.
All right. It's the book of MA ASEI. MA ASEI, Acts chapter 26. Shaul's defense before Agrippa. Verse 1. Then Agrippa said unto Shaul, you are permitted to speak for yourself. Then Shaul stretched forth the hand and answered for himself. I think myself happy, King Agrippa, because I shall answer for myself this day before you, touching all the things whereof I am accused of the Yahudim, especially because I know you to be an expert in all customs and questions which are among the Yahudim. Wherefore I beseech you to hear me patiently. So, I don't know about, Agrippa being an expert, but I mean, these are wise words being spoken,
He's sucking up to him. All
right. Verse 4. My manner of life from my youth, which was at the first among mine own nation at Jerusalem, know all the Yahudim, which knew me from the beginning, if they would testify that after the most straightest sect of our religion, I lived a Pharisee. Remembering even how we met Shaul, it wasn't him out preaching the good news. He was there when Stephen was martyred, and went on to persecute the church,
Indeed.
Verse 6. And now I stand and am judged for the hope of the promise made of our power unto our fathers, unto which promise our 12 tribes, instantly serving the Most High day and night, hope to come. For which hope's sake, King Agrippa, I am accused of the Yahudim. Why should it be thought a thing incredible with you that the Most High should raise the dead? Why is that so strange? But these things, these men's hearts are hardened. They don't want to believe these things. All right. Verse 9. I verily thought with myself that I ought to do many things contrary to the name of Yahushua of Nazareth, which thing I also did in Jerusalem, and many of the saints did I shut up in prison, having received authority from the chief priests. And when they were put to death, I gave my voice against them. So these saints are referring to Israelites, not the church, Israelites.
Israelites, indeed.
Verse 11. And I punished them often in every assembly, and compelled them to blasphemy, and being exceedingly mad against them, I persecuted them even unto strange cities. So, remembering when he had his vision, he was on his way to Damascus.
Right.
Verse 12. Whereupon, as I went to Damascus with authority and commission from the chief priests, at midday, O king, I saw in the way a light from Shemaim, above the brightness of the sun, shining round about me and them which journeyed with me. And when we were all fallen to the arrest, I heard a voice speaking unto me and saying in the Hebrew tongue, Shaul, Shaul, why persecute you me? It is hard for you to kick against the pricks. And I said, who are you, Adonai? And he said, I am Yahushua, whom you persecuted. But rise and stand upon your feet, for I have appeared unto you for this purpose, to make you a minister and a witness both of these things which you have seen, and of those things in the which I will appear unto you, delivering you from the people and from the Gentiles unto whom now I send you, to open their eyes and to turn them from darkness to light, and from the power of Hasatan unto the Most High, that they may receive forgiveness of sins and inheritance among them which are sanctified by faith that is in me. Whereupon, O King Agrippa, I was not disobedient unto the heavenly vision, but I showed first unto them of Damascus and at Jerusalem and throughout all the coast of Judea, and then to the Gentiles, that they should repent and turn to the Most High and do works meet for repentance. For these causes the Yahudim caught me in the temple and went about to kill me. Having therefore obtained help of the Most High, I continued unto this day, witnessing both to small and great, saying none other things than those which the prophets and Moshe did say should come, that Mashiach should suffer, and that he should be the first that should rise from the dead, and should show light unto the people and to the Gentiles. So I would say the people being Yahudim or Israelites, and then the Gentiles, being other nations.
Right, indeed.
Verse 24, and as he thus spake for himself, Festus said with a loud voice, Shaul, you are beside yourself. Much learning do make thee mad. But he said, I am not mad, most noble Festus, but speak forth the words of truth and soberness. For the king knoweth of these things, before whom also I speak freely. For I am persuaded that none of these things are hidden from him, for this thing was not done in a corner. King Agrippa, believeth you the prophets? I know that you believeth. Then Agrippa said unto Shaul, almost you persuadest me to be a Messianic.
You're right. It's all one.
Yeah.
Let's look at that real quick over here. 28. That's 28. Let's see how they worded that here. Yeah, Messianic. Oh, I was not sharing it. Here it is. Agrippa said unto Shaul, with a little you might have persuaded me to become that's Messianic, right?
Yeah, Messianic.
Okay. All right. Continue, right?
Yeah. It's and I thought this, I think this sometimes I like this religion, how is it that Agrippa, believes the prophets? Agrippa wasn't Yasharal.
I know. But him being the king, part of the Torah, the Torah says that the king has to write the law with his hand. So but
that wouldn't have been applicable to him being Edomite.
Well, I mean, if he want to be accepted as the king, I don't know.
But here's the thing, they're calling him king, but remember that this is at this time the nation is annexed by Rome.
Mm-hmm.
His authority it's not based on Torah.
No, definitely.
Don't put up on another man of another nation above you.
You're right. Absolutely. Yeah, that's Torah unequivocally. But here's the thing, at the same time, once we went off, we lose our heritage. And that's part of that heritage that we lost. We read in Apocrypha, he gave us the law, and I forget the rest of it, as a heritage. You remember what I'm trying to
say? You said
gave the law for
So Yirmiyahu 20 or
Actually, Ecclesiastes,
okay.
Ecclesiasticus, Salakia Sirach, verse 17 and 11. Besides this, he gave them knowledge and the law of life for inheritance. So, that law of life, we know that's Torah. So, that was what was lost when we went off. So even though they were still in the land, they were still keeping some of the ways. They had lost a lot, and I shouldn't say we had lost a lot at that time, even before that, because we lost once we had been taken into Babylon, and we lost our king. That was it. That was pretty much the situation, because from that point we didn't have another king from Dawid. We what was the king's name who they put his eyes out and killed his family in front of him? Killed his family.
That was Zedekiah.
Zedekiah, yeah. So after Zedekiah, we didn't have another king on the throne.
Right.
So we were given Herod by the Greeks, set up
Mhm.
Herod and put him in the place. So when the time when the Mashiach was born, he commanded all the children be killed to fight against the idea of him losing the throne to a Yahudim. So, yeah, I mean, so in reality, no, it wouldn't be applicable to Agrippa, because Agrippa is not Israel Yasha'al. But for him to be accepted and not just disregarded, because he truly has no power, but
Right.
he does in the sense that they respect him as king. That's how Shaul was talking to him, and that's how the priests, the high priest and the under priest are all talking to him. Uh, they deal with him in that manner, as if he was Israel, but we know he's not. So I'm thinking, in my reasonable thinking, I'm not saying that unequivocally, but in my reasonable thinking, I would imagine he would check those boxes that the king has to check. So he would have written the law, and that's why Shaul is telling him, "I know you know the law. You know the law because you have to write it with your hand. That's a requirement of the king. So whoever comes after Agrippa will have to write that law with their hand in the same manner. These are things that have to happen. So, yeah. And not only that, I mean, there are a few different requirements of the king. Now, did he do all of them and do it perfectly? No, I'm surely not. But I'm sure he did that part of it. I mean, how would you judge a people by the Torah if you don't know what the Torah says?
That's a good point.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Verse 29. And Shaul said, I would to the Most High that not only you, but also all that hear me this day were both almost and altogether such as I am, except these bonds. And when he had thus spoken, the king rose up, and the governor, and Bernice, and they that sat with them. And when they were gone aside, they talked between themselves, saying, This man do nothing worthy of death or of bonds. Then said Agrippa unto Festus, This man might have been set at liberty if he had not appealed unto Caesar.
So because he said, I appeal to Caesar, now they got to send him to Caesar. So after hearing what he said and realizing that there's nothing really going on, he could have let him go, except now Caesar's expecting him. So now you can't go. You got to go see you got to go see this so-called Caesar. I kind of hate I'm putting that so much respect on Caesar's name. Respect Caesar. Caesar is nobody to me. Shouldn't be to any of our people, but
all right.
Anyway.
All right. It's the book of MA ASEI, Acts chapter 27. Shaul is sent to Rome, verse 1. And when it was determined that we should sail into Italy, they delivered Shaul and certain other prisoners unto one named Julius, a centurion of Augustus's band. And entering into a ship of Adramyttium, we launched, meaning to sail by the coast of Asia. One Aristarchus, a Macedonian of Thessalonica, being with us. And the next day we touched at Sidon, and Julius courteously entreated Shaul and gave him liberty to go unto his friends to refresh himself. And when we had launched from thence, we sailed into Cyprus, because the winds were contrary. And when we had sailed over the sea of Sicilia and Pamphylia, we came to Myra, a city of Lycia. And there the centurion found a ship of Alexandria sailing into Italy, and he put us therein. And when we had sailed slowly many days, and scarce were come over against Cnidius, the wind not suffering us, we sailed under Crete over against Salmon, and hardly passing it, came unto a place which is called the Fair Havens, nigh whereunto was the city of Lycia. Now, when much time was spent, and when sailing was now dangerous, because the fast was now already past, Shaul admonished them. I'm not certain what fast this is speaking about,
Atonement, right? Yom Kippur?
I'm not sure. Yeah, like I've heard brothers say that, but I'm not sure if that's certain. I know that there were other fasts that were held. Mm-hmm. And the way I see that law written for atonement, I don't see that was a mandatory fast on that day.
Yeah, well, that might just be how they beckon that word. Let's see what that word is for that.
I think fasting on a day of atonement is definitely a way to afflict yourself, and and maybe that's what this was, but I'm not certain.
Yeah, look here. A fasting fast, a voluntary as a religious exercise or private fasting, a public fast or a perceived by a messianic law kept yearly in the great day of atonement, 10th month of whatever that is, part of our 9th or 10th month fast according to occurred in autumn. Dangerous account of the storm, a fasting caused by want or poverty. So we know it wasn't because of this one.
Right.
If it's a voluntary thing, why would he be on them about it? You know what I'm saying? So,
well, you remember there's a fast of the 5th month, also a fast of the 7th and 10th month. So I'm just not sure which one this is.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not for certain. But for him to admonish them, it should be something that they should all be doing. So,
let's see. Verse 10.
Yeah.
And said unto them, Sirs, I perceive that this voyage will be with hurt and much damage, not only of the lading of the ship, but also of our lives. Nevertheless, the centurion believed the master and the owner of the ship more than those things which were spoken by Shaul. And because the haven was not commodious to winter in it, in the more part advised to depart thence also, if by any means they might attain to Phoenice, and there to winter, which is a haven of Crete, and lieth toward the southwest and northwest. And when the south wind blew softly, supposing that they have obtained their purpose, loosening thence, they sailed close by Crete, shipwreck. Verse 14. But not long after there arose against it a tempestuous
Mm.
Tim,
Temtopius. Look like it.
say it again.
Look like Temtopius.
Tempestuous wind called Eurocyclidon. Is it some type of hurricane or something?
I would venture to say it's probably some. Yeah, you know how they name them here. Let's see.
Yeah,
I bet that's something bad.
Eurocyclidon.
I bet that's something bad.
Right.
Cyclone tempest northeast wind which blew in the Mediterranean, mostly in the autumn and winter. It is a modern colorless oil of. Oh, okay. Well, so that's. I guess it's still. They still calling it that, even in this day and time. So that's interesting.
All right, verse 15.
Yeah.
And when the ship was caught and could not bear up into the wind, we let her drive. And running under a certain island, which is called Claudia, we had much work to come by the boat, which when they had taken up, they used helps, undergirding the ship, and fearing lest they should fall into the quicksands, straight sail, and so were driven. And we being exceedingly tossed with the tempest, the next day they lightened the ship. And the third day we cast out with our own hands the tackling of the ship. And when neither sun nor stars in many days appeared, and no small tempest lay on us, all hope that we should be saved was then taken away. But after long abstinence, Shaul stood forth in the midst of them and said, Sirs, ye should have hearkened unto me, and not have loosed from Crete, and to have gained this harm and loss. And now I exhort you to be of good cheer, for there shall be no loss of any man's life among you, but of the ship. For there stood by me this night the Malik of the Most High, whose I am, and whom I serve, saying, Fear not, Shaul, you must be brought before Caesar, and lo, the Most High hath given you all them that sail with you. Wherefore, sirs, be of good cheer, for I believe the Most High, that it shall be even as it was told me. Howbeit, we must be cast upon a certain island. But when the 14th night was come, as we were driven up and down in Adria, about midnight the shipmen deemed that they drew near to some country, and sounded and found it 20 fathoms. And when they had gone a little further, they sounded again and found it 15 fathoms. Then, fearing lest we should have fallen upon rocks, they cast 4 anchors out of the stern and wished for the day. And as the shipmen were about to flee out of the ship, when they had let down the boat unto the sea, under colors as though they would have cast anchors out of the foreship, Shaul said to the centurion and to the soldiers, Except these abide in the ship, ye cannot be saved. Then the soldiers cut off the ropes of the boat and let her fall off. And while the day was coming on, Shaul besought them all to take meat, saying, This day is the 14th day that ye have tarried and continued fasting, having taken nothing. So again, 14th day of fasting. This is more than a day of atonement.
Okay. Yeah, you're right. I don't know what that would be. I haven't heard of a 14-day fast.
I think it might have just been something that they were. It's either the fast of the one of those other months or something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it had to be. And they mentioned winter earlier. Yeah, so I'm not for sure.
All right, verse 34. Wherefore I pray you to take some meat, for this is for your health. For there shall not a hair fall from the head of any of you. And when he had thus spoken, he took bread and gave thanks to the Most High in the presence of them all, and when he had broken it, he began to eat. Then were they all of good cheer, and they also took some meat. And we were in all in the ship 260 souls. So 266, no, 76.
Yeah, 76.
And when they had eaten enough, they lightened the ship and cast out the wheat into the sea. And when it was day, they knew not the land, but they discovered a certain creek with the shore, into the which they were minded, if it were possible, to thrust in the ship. And when they had taken up the anchors, they committed themselves into the sea, and loosened the rubber bands, and hoist up the mainsail to the wind, and made toward the shore. And falling into a place where two meets met, they ran the ship aground, and the forepart stuck fast and remained unmovable, but the hinder part was broken with the violence of the waves. And the soldiers' counsel was to kill the prisoners, lest any of them should swim out and escape. But the centurion, willing to save Shaul, kept them from their purpose, and commanded that they which could swim should cast themselves first into the sea and get to land, and the rest, some on boards and some on broken pieces of the ship. And so it came to pass that they escaped all safe to land. You know, Shaul, they told him, it's not going to be a hair from your head, hurt.
Yeah, I'll make it.
All right. Let's close out of a wonderful book, man. Wonderful book. All right, let's get it. It's the book of MA ASEI, Acts chapter 28, safe at Malta, verse 1. And when they were escaped, then they knew that the island was called Melita or Malta. And the barbarous people showed us no little kindness, for they kindled a fire and received us every one, because of the present rain and because of the cold. And when Shaul had gathered a bundle of sticks and laid them on the fire, there came a viper out of the heat and fastened on his hand. And when the barbarians saw the venomous beast hang on his hand, they said among themselves, no doubt this man is a murderer, whom though he hath escaped the sea, yet vengeance suffereth not to live. And he shook off the beast into the fire and felt no harm. Remembering what Mashiach said would be a sign of the disciples, his people. They would take up poisonous serpents and not be harmed.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, that's miraculous to think about, that the snake actually sounded like it latched onto his hand, and yet he was able to shake it off, and maybe it didn't grip, bite down, grip good, but he was just that little bit, and he was able to get it out of there.
Verse 6. Howbeit they looked when he should have swollen or fallen down dead suddenly, but after they had looked a great while and saw no harm come to him, they changed their minds and said that he was a deity. In the same quarters were possessions of the chief man of the island, whose name was Publius, who received us and lodged us 3 days courteously. And it came to pass that the father of Publius lay sick of fever and of a bloody flux, to whom Shaul entered in and prayed and laid his hands on him and healed him. But when this was done, others also which had diseases in the island came and were healed, who also honored us with many honors. And when we departed, they ladded us with such things as was necessary. Shaul arrives at Kittim, verse 11. And after 3 months, we departed into a ship of Alexandria, which had wintered in the isle, whose sign was Castor and Pollux. And landing at Syracuse, we tarried there 3 days. And from thence we fetched a compass and came to Rhegium. And after 1 day, the south wind blew, and we came the next day to Puteoli. That sounds like some type of pasta.
Yeah, it really do.
Hey, verse 14. Where we found brethren and were desired to tarry with them 7 days. And so we went toward Kittim. And from thence, when the brethren heard of us, they came to meet us as far as Api Forum, and the 3 taverns, whom when Shaul saw, he thanked the Most High and took courage. And when we came to Rome or Kittim, the centurion delivered the prisoners to the captain of the guard. But Shaul was suffered to dwell by himself with the soldier that kept him. And it came to pass that after 3 days, Shaul called the chief of the Yahudim together. And when they were come together, he said unto them, Men and brethren, though I have committed nothing against the people or customs of our fathers, yet I was delivered prisoner from Jerusalem into the hands of the Romans. Man, that's crazy. That this whole time he's with the people that have accused him. And they're all in the same ship and have gone through the right. Man, Most High is a grand architect. They were witnesses. They were witnesses to Shaul standing up, telling them that we shouldn't sell. Right. Shaul healing people, doing the same works that Mashiach done. That's how the Most High works out sometimes, man.
Yeah, he made them see all of this, and yet they still stand in accusation against him.
It's crazy, man. It's crazy, but just makes us be mindful. Sometimes we might go through some situations that are uncomfortable, but it's all for purpose. All right.
Right. Indeed, Akeem.
Verse 18. Who, when they had examined me, would have let me go, because there was no cause of death in me. But when the Yahudim spake against it, I was constrained to appeal unto Caesar. Not that I had aught to accuse my nation of, for this cause there have I called for you, to see you and to speak with you, because that the hope of Yasharal I am bound with this chain. And they said unto him, we neither receive letters out of Judea concerning you, neither any of the brethren that came showed or spake any harm of you, but we desire to hear of you what you thinketh. For as concerning this sect, we know that everywhere it is spoken against, talking about Messianics,
Right.
Verse 23. And when they had appointed him a day, there came many to him into his lodging, to whom he expounded and testified the kingdom of the Most High, persuading them concerning Yahushua, both out of the Torah of Moshe and out of the prophets, from morning till evening. So, man, this is what Mashiach had in mind for him.
Yeah, you had to get in here so you can bring this out.
Wow.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
Man, verse 24. And some believed the things which were spoken, and some believed not. And when they agreed not among themselves, they departed. After that, Shaul had spoken one word. Well spake HaKodesh Ruach by Yeshayahu the prophet unto our fathers, saying, Go unto this people and say, Hearing ye shall hear, and shall not understand, and seeing ye shall see, and not perceive. For the heart of this people is waxed gross, and their ears are dull of hearing, and their eyes have they closed, lest they should see with their eyes, and hear with their ears, and understand with their heart, and should be converted, and I should heal them. Be it known, therefore, unto you, that the salvation of the Most High is set unto the Gentiles, and that they will hear it. And when he had said these words, the Yahudim departed and had great reasoning among themselves. And Shaul dwelt 2 whole years in his own hired house and received all that came unto him, preaching the kingdom of the Most High and teaching those things which concern the Adonai Yahweh Shah Mashiach with all confidence, no man forbidding him. Man, all praises, man.
Yeah, hallelujah. You know, it's ironic when he said that they departed. He was like, we don't want to hear that. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like,
Right.
they ready to go. Like, that's it. All right. Completing this book of Acts. This book was different than a lot of other books that we've covered through all of our readings and all of our understandings. And it's very different. It definitely is different. It's very different. We saw things in this book we didn't see anywhere else. That's what I mean when I say it's different. We see the Yahudim dealing with rejection of the Messiah. We see Shaul coming about into his own ministry and getting things in order as it pertains to his progression into basically to this point, getting to Rome and speaking in front of those Romans there, or the Yahudim, the believers, so on and so forth. So all that he went through was for a purpose, and not just for our entertainment and reading this. So it's an ironic book, very different, and I need some. While I'm saying that, and I'm gonna rest there because I need some time to process, and I want to read these letters that by the end of this, I think we'll have a much better grasp. I'll tell you this: I didn't feel any different with the Gospels. Reading the work of a Mashiach, magnificent. This book is different. It's a very different book, and I'm not against it. I'm not saying it's wrong, but I do want to see what all of these letters that were written, all these epistles that were written. We're going to read all of those, and from that, coupled with what we've learned here, what we read here in this book, we should get a good understanding of what exactly this book is really giving us. And from there, I'm a yield there. So I'm gonna withhold judgment until I get the whole all the information about that.
Indeed, Doc. And I think, man, I think I'm kind of there with you in regards to when we came out of the Gospels, we came away with we were edified. Our learning increased. We didn't have that many questions. Because we had a chance to read the story 4 different times.
Right.
So our edification was growing each time we read it. Right. And expounding with each of those Gospels. This book right here, we kind of come away with some questions.
Yeah.
Definitely questions, and I think that's fair. I've heard beloved brothers denounce this book. Brothers that you and I love.
Yeah.
They will say that this book has been tampered with. I don't know that if I see it like that completely. I think it might be our understanding that perhaps needs to come to terms with what we read.
That's possible.
Yeah. But I love this book. I love this. We see Kepha become a rock in this book. You know, we see one who wasn't in the way be put in the way.
Yeah.
You know, this is you know, in Bereshit we read of Father Abraham's journey, and we know that it's a journey of faith. And faith is increased in it. With this book, I had certain moments where I kind of felt the same way reading Bereshit with different things that was going on, like reading about Shaul healing people. And these weren't these weren't Israelites that he was healing. You know, these were barbarians. You know, and the Most High is still being a blessing. So, man, it's this good stuff. This is really good stuff. All praise to the Most High for these things being written. And you know, I pray that our understanding continues to grow. I pray that He strengthens us, not just for ourselves, but that we can strengthen others.
Absolutely, 100%. And that's why I say I'm very interested in finishing the story and getting all of it. I think once we complete the letters, the epistles, that will help us to better understand. Once we read all the writings of Shaul, the writings of Kippur, the writings of Yaakov, all of those. So before we get to Hazon, I think we should be able to make a judgment on this particular book. But I think it would be ill-advised to judge this book based on just reading it by itself. You have to get more. So with all that we've read up until this point, and including this book, adding those epistles, I think that'll be enough to make a reasonable judgment. So yeah, that's why I'm deferring to that time. So it's definitely different. It's definitely different than what we've read thus far. Very different. So interestingly different. So, but anything else? I'm gonna close it on out.
All praises to the Most High for yet another edifying day. Man, thank you, Father.
Hallelujah. Yes, indeed. Always praises to the Abba. He is magnificent and wonderful, and even showing us, allowing us to go through this and to use wisdom and judgment to deal with it. So with that, we're going to close out with the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter number 12 and verse number 13. Let us hear the conclusion of the whole matter. Fear the Most High and keep His commandments, for this is the whole duty of man. It is so very important that in the conclusion of the whole matter, we are to fear the Most High and keep His commandments, for this is the whole duty of man. It is imperative and so vital to our existence that we understand at the end of it all, we will be judged on whether we feared the Most High and kept His commandments, because this is the entire reason that we were made. I am your Akazaki Yahu, joined by my most esteemed Akinanaya, giving all praises, honor, and great esteem unto the Most High Power, Yahuwah Bahashim, Yahushua HaMashiach, and to the 12 tribes of Israel who are scattered to the four quarters of the earth. I'll say shalom wa baruchim, that is peace and blessings. And I cannot wait to the day that the Most High brings us back together, and we are once again 12 tribes, one family, one nation, under the Most High Power, under one covenant, and back in our own land. Until that day, Shabbat Shalom, family.
Shabbat Shalom, Mishpachah.
Praise